I'm a very short tempered when it comes to doing the things. I want it in my way, right? Sometimes I get, and at that moment things get weird, I totally become a different person. So I just want to know how, I mean, if you are
So
taking this
you are a perfectionist.
I try to become perfectionist, but
why does perfectionism happen? So perfectionism, see, when we are perfectionist, we cannot tolerate even small mistake which others make, because we have very high expectations of ourselves, and similarly we have high expectations from others also, right?
Right.
Why does perfectionism happen? Again, because we want there is a fear of failure. We don't want to fail.
Okay.
That is why we are
Yeah.
perfectionist, right?
Yes, I always had this sense, I wanted, like you said it very correctly. If I'm doing something, if some function is happening, or maybe we are doing some preparation for any sort of thing, I want it in my way, just because I do not want, any questions from somebody
Correct.
else. Things
Correct.
like that.
Now, why is there fear of failure? Again, it boils down to lack of self-belief,
Okay.
because we don't want to fail, because there is a deep lurking blockage that how will I be able to handle the situation in case there is a mistake, in case I fail.
Right.
And that causes a lot of stress, lot of tension, that, because unless we fail, how will we learn? The idea is not to be fear of failure. The idea is to be afraid of not repeating the failure.
Okay.
So we should never be afraid of making a mistake and failing. We should always be afraid of repeating the mistake, which happens when we are not learning from the mistake.
Okay.
So we have to remove that lack of self-belief, that I'm afraid of failing. See, the first step, what is the first step of every human being in this world? Is it success or failure?
I mean, everybody thinks about success,
No. What I'm saying is
It's a failure.
it's a
It's
failure.
a failure.
The
Yeah,
first
like a
step.
child tries.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we are the first step, the first thing that a human being tries to do in this life is a failure. So, and that is how the child learns how to walk, right? So how can we be
Yeah.
afraid of failure? Unless the child fails, he or she will never learn how to walk, because there is not a single human being, including, I'm sure, all the, I don't want to take names so that it doesn't become emotional, but all the, prophets and all the avatars that we have had, I'm sure when they were born, none of them was able to start walking in the first go. I'm sure they would have also maybe fell down. So the point is that we should never be afraid of failure. We should always be afraid of repeating the failure. And we should have the self-belief that because I do everything in my power to improve, I learn from each failure and I never repeat my failure. And in case something bad has happened, some failure has happened, by God's grace, I'll be able to handle the consequences. What most can happen if you fail? What is the worst which can happen? There is nothing. I mean, it's not a life and death situation, right? We are
Right.
not, by God's grace, we are not a surgeon or a doctor, so we don't have that much pressure on our head. So what most can happen? And it's see it how this works is, let me ask you a puzzle. I'll ask you a riddle, and let me share my screen so that it works better. So why am I saying this is because we sometimes tend to complicate the problems, and the problems are not that difficult. So I'll be able to articulate this with the help of this puzzle. So let me
Right.
just look where that puzzle is, that riddle, and then
Yeah, these things happen, Amit. After, when everything, once I get short tempered, everything just blows off. And when I get calm, I, when
I
I
understand.
get calm, I think that, okay, this was very so easy, and I made it complicated from my end.
Right. So, this is the problem. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So a father is about to bring his son for an interview.
Okay.
So my request is, in case somebody has already heard of this riddle, you please don't answer. Let Sunny try to answer it first.
Mhm.
So a father is about to bring his son for an interview in one of these stockbroking companies, and applying for a position. Just one second. Applying for a position at a large stockbroking company in the city.
Mhm.
Just as they arrive at the company's parking lot, son's phone rings. Okay.
Right.
He looks at his father, who says, "Go ahead, answer it." The
Mhm.
caller is the trading company CEO, who says, "Good luck, son. I'm sure you will get this job." The son ends the call and looks at his father, who is still next to him in their car.
Mhm.
How is this possible? So, a father is about to bring his son for a job interview, applying for a position at a large stockbroking company in the city. Just as they arrive at the company's parking lot, son's phone rings. He looks at his father, who says, "Go ahead, answer it." The caller is the trading company CEO, who says, "Good luck, son. I'm sure you will get this job." The son ends the call and looks at his father, who is still next to him in their car. How is this possible?
His father might be a cab driver.
No. It's a very simple answer. You'll be surprised to know the answer.
Um, uh, Maybe his son is crippled, or his father is taking him, I mean, helping him by taking him to interview.
No, that's okay. But who's the other person?
Other person, I cannot think of why a CEO is calling a guy who just arrived for interview, and how he knows that guy.
So the CEO is his mother, no? The son's mother.
Oh, wow, seriously.
See, it's such a simple thing, no? But we try, because of our blockages, we tend to complicate things which have a very simple answer. Things are never that bad. What will happen if we fail? It's never that bad. It's only we have complicated the situation.
Got
You
it.
understand?
Got it. It's
So,
really
so,
confusing.
so never have fear of failure. By God's grace, everything turns out well. Unless we are in a life and death situation, unless there are situations we are a soldier on the front, or we are a surgeon, and so it's not that bad. It's never that bad. What is the worst that can happen?
Correct. Only the failure is the worst thing that can be happen.
It's also not the worst thing. Unless we fail, we cannot succeed. We cannot learn ways.
Right.
This guy, Mr. Thomas Alva Edison, he said that he knows 1,000 ways in which a bulb cannot be made.
Correct.
Had he not tried those 1,000 ways, he wouldn't have found that 1,001th way to make it, no?
Correct.
Failure is never that bad. Failure teaches us.
Got it.
And the consequences of failure are never that bad. It's only we complicate things.
Got it. Got it.
All right, friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
Amit, sorry to. Yeah, so your analysis of being perfectionist is totally right. Even I am facing that problem, and it causes me lots of anxiety.